23 violations. 6 months. That's what Marcus and Jennifer Martinez received after moving into Oakwood Estates, a quiet suburban neighborhood they had saved 15 years to afford. Their white neighbors, the Johnsons, living just 3 houses away in an identical home. 1 violation. In 3 years. This isn't a story about bad luck. This is a story about documentation, evidence, and what happens when a black family refuses to be quietly pushed out of their own neighborhood. Marcus wasn't an activist. He was a high school math teacher. His wife, Jennifer, worked long shifts as a nurse at the county hospital. 2 kids, a 10-year-old girl and a 7-year-old boy, full of energy, full of dreams. For the Martinez family, buying that house was more than a milestone. It was survival. It was proof that hard work could buy safety, respect, and a future. They closed on the house in March 2019. The first HOA violation letter arrived in April. The letter said, "Mailbox non-compliant with community standards." Marcus was confused. The mailbox had been there for 12 years, the previous owners were white. They had never been cited. But Marcus didn't want trouble. He replaced it. $200, just to avoid conflict. 2 weeks later, another letter. Lawn maintenance below community standards. Marcus had mowed 3 days before. He had time-stamped photos to prove it. Still, the violation stood. Then came another. And another. Jennifer's car was unauthorized. Their flag was displayed too long. Their paint color, unapproved. By the 5th month, they had 14 violations. 14. Jennifer cried one night at the kitchen table. Marcus promised her, "We'll handle it." And that's when he started documenting everything. Dates. Times. Photos. Every letter, every response, every photo. But as he watched his neighbors, he noticed something. The Johnsons had the same mailbox. No letters. The Parkers left their trash bins out for days. No warnings. The Hendersons parked a boat in their driveway for weeks. No fines. Marcus realized this wasn't about rules. It was about who was being ruled. If this happened to you, what would you do? Would you stay silent? Would you pay your fees, follow every rule, and hope it stops? Or would you stand up and risk everything, just to be treated like everyone else? Tell me in the comments. Because this story isn't just about the Martinez family. It's about all of us. You're watching Color is Not a Crime, where we tell real stories about justice, race, and the power of truth. Because when systems fail, storytelling becomes resistance. After the 14th violation, Marcus decided to take a different approach. He wasn't going to just react, he was going to investigate. He created a spreadsheet: date, type of violation, description, time received, time responded. He added photos, side-by-side comparisons with other homes, every detail documented. When the 15th letter arrived, this time accusing them of using an unapproved exterior color, Marcus reached his breaking point. Their house was beige. The same beige as 11 other houses on the same street. Jennifer looked at him and said quietly, "This isn't random anymore." That night, she contacted a lawyer. Her name was Elaine Rogers, a civil rights attorney who had handled several housing discrimination cases. Elaine told them, "Document everything. Don't argue. Don't quit. We'll get them through evidence, not emotion." Over the next 2 months, Elaine filed a Freedom of Information Act request, forcing the HOA to release all violation records from the past 5 years. When the documents arrived, the numbers spoke louder than any argument. Out of 127 homes in Oakwood Estates, only 4 belonged to black families. Yet those 4 families accounted for 62% of all violations issued during that period. 62%. That wasn't coincidence. That was a pattern. Then came the second wave of evidence: internal HOA board emails obtained through subpoena. One thread dated April 10, 2019, just 1 week after the Martinez family moved in. Karen Whitfield, HOA president, wrote, "We need to stay on top of a new family on Maple Drive. I've already noticed issues with curb appeal. Let's make sure they understand our standards here." A board member, David Chen, replied, "Agreed. We've worked hard to maintain the character of this neighborhood. Can't let things slide." Elaine printed the emails and underlined 2 words: character and standards. Then she looked up and said, "Those are coded words. Character means race. Standards means control. They've been using this language for decades." The room went silent. Marcus stared at the printout, his hands shaking slightly. He whispered, "So they never wanted us here?" Elaine nodded. "And now we can prove it." In November 2019, Elaine filed a federal lawsuit on behalf of the Martinez family. The charges: housing discrimination, selective enforcement, and harassment. The HOA board hired an expensive law firm and denied everything. They claimed the violations were legitimate, that Marcus was using the race card. But the data was irrefutable. 23 violations in 6 months for the Martinez family. 1 violation in 3 years for the Johnsons next door. And 62% of total citations targeting just 4 black households. The case dragged on for nearly a year. Local news began covering it, but cautiously. The HOA refused to comment. During mediation in March 2021, Elaine presented the board's own emails on a projector. Word by word, line by line, the lies collapsed. Karen Whitfield, the HOA president, couldn't even look up. When Elaine read the phrase "maintain the character of the neighborhood," the silence in the room was heavier than any argument. By the end of the session, the HOA's attorneys knew they couldn't win. The settlement was reached that same week. The Martinez family received $75,000 in damages. All 23 violations were expunged from record. HOA President Karen Whitfield was removed from her position. Mandatory anti-discrimination training was ordered for all board members. But for the Martinez family, money wasn't the victory. It was the right to stay. They still live in that beige house on Maple Drive. Same flag on the porch. Same children laughing in the yard. Except now, they know every neighbor knows their story. Marcus said in a local interview, "We didn't want revenge. We wanted fairness. They tried to make us feel small, but this time, we documented everything." And Jennifer added softly, "We wanted our kids to see that silence is never the answer." Some people will say, that's just one HOA. One bad president. But the truth? It's bigger than Oakwood Estates. It's about the system that made Karen Whitfield feel she could get away with it. Across America, there are over 370,000 homeowners associations, controlling the lives of more than 53 million people. And study after study, from California to Florida, shows the same pattern. Black homeowners are cited for violations up to 4 times more often than white homeowners. And even when they follow every rule, they're still accused of not maintaining standards. This isn't just about lawns and mailboxes. It's about the illusion of order, used as a weapon. A system that says, "We're not racist, we're just enforcing the rules." But who writes those rules? Who decides what community standards even mean? Because the truth is, sometimes, racism doesn't wear a hood. Sometimes, it wears a name tag that says HOA president. And here's the part they don't want you to know. For every Marcus and Jennifer who fight back and win, there are dozens of black families who quietly sell, move, and disappear. Too tired, too broke, or too afraid to keep fighting. Every story like this one is just the tip of an iceberg. The part visible above a system built to protect itself. If you believe these stories matter, share this video. Let's make sure their voices echo beyond Oakwood Estates. Subscribe to Color is not a crime to see the truth others won't tell. Because change doesn't start in the courts. It starts when people watch, share, and refuse to look away. Today, the Martinez family still lives on Maple Drive. Their kids still ride bikes. Their flag still waves in the morning wind. And sometimes, Marcus says, when he checks the mail and sees no letters, he smiles. Because silence, this time, means victory. Their story isn't just about one neighborhood. It's about dignity and documentation. About refusing to be erased. And maybe, someday, when another black family moves into a neighborhood like Oakwood Estates, no one will feel the need to maintain the character again. Because the true character of a neighborhood isn't in the color of its houses. It's in the courage of the people who live inside them.